Now it's time for a little fantasy football. We got our guy D Nasty back. David, how the heck you doing, man?
Good. Ready for some turkey Thanksgiving this week? A little turkey ball, a little turducken, John Madden style. Ready to go.
Well, I'll tell you this: the Cardinals won't be enjoying Thanksgiving if they keep getting whooped like this, 38-10. Their
Yeah.
families might kick them out of the house.
It's just old-fashioned butt kicking by the 49ers. The 49ers are going to be a scary team, man, come playoff time, man. I'm telling you.
I agree. Jeff Benson from the Circuit just tweeted out that he's got the Niners favored over the Eagles on a neutral as well as the Cowboys too. So that's really saying
That's not too
something.
far off, though. I'm telling you, man. Like, if they
I
keep
agree.
playing well.
I agree with it. I would bet the Niners probably.
Yeah.
They're just powerful run team. They do have some weakness against the pass, but they're playing backup quarterback right now. They were exposed a little when they played the Chiefs, so people should at least try to remember that. But anyways, Dave, it's fantasy football, and that's what we're all about. What kind of bye weeks do we have?
None. No bye weeks this week, so you do not have to worry about buys this week, actually.
I know
So
it's interesting that there's no bye weeks. I thought that Thanksgiving week there was still bye weeks, maybe one or two teams, but this week there's none. But you do have to have your lineup set early, don't you?
you do, yeah, for the Thanksgiving Day games. There's actually some good games actually this Thanksgiving. I do like the Bills Lions matchup. Lions are playing well, won 2 straight games. Giants Cowboys game could be a good game if the Giants show up, and the Patriots Vikings game actually it might be a good game as well. So there might be some good games actually on Thanksgiving Day. I'm looking
It
forward
does.
to it.
Yeah, I think it looks pretty good. I mean, the Giants, I think, are a little fraudulent. You can see in the line there, but at least the Lions are an offensive team. They might put up some points. They just have a bad defense. You saw them go to the New York Giants and put up a ton of points. And then what's the other game? I'm gonna pull it
Patriots
up here.
Vikings.
Yeah, Patriots Vikings. That could be a little dull. We'll see. The Vikings are in a little bit of a get up spot after that ass whooping. Holy cow! They
Oh yeah,
the NFC North just so bad, man.
it is. It is. I agree. I agree. Patriots have
It's
a good defense though, so they could give them a run for their money if their offense can show up. So we'll see though. There could be some blowouts or there could be some good games this week. So it's really hard to tell though. But we'll see which teams show up here.
yeah, let's see which teams show up, my man. Well, no bye weeks, which is a good thing. So let's get right into key injuries then. I just have a few. Kyle Pitts, torn MCL. Oh, needs surgery. Poor guy. Not like he was really ripping it up. He was like a
No,
semi bust. He was kind of a bust this year anyway. But still, I mean, you drafted him. If you're in a dynasty league, you're a little bummed out because this could set him back even past the beginning of next season. So those torn ligaments are bad. Quarterback Justin Fields with a left shoulder. The first report was that it was dislocated, and then another report came out saying it wasn't. I personally feel, Dave, they should rest him anyway. Why you got Fields? He's running his ass off, getting just killed out there. The Bears aren't making the playoffs.
no.
I just say rest him for the
Like for a
Packers.
draft pick. And they said he had a hamstring injury too before halftime too. That he's running around with a bad hammy. They said as well. So he's
He needs
banged
a
up
break.
pretty good.
He needs a break. It's a 17 game season now. And I'm just saying that because I bet the Jets. Running back Joe Mixon has a concussion. I think that's semi important there. Joe Mixon was a beast, maybe the best running back this year. I don't know. He was right up there, and now there's going to be a big pickup on the waivers. We'll get into wide receiver Kadarius Toney has that wonderful game the week before, and then goes out early with a hamstring. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, same team on the Chiefs with an ankle. He's always injured, man. That dude's
Oh
trying
yeah.
to down himself, and real bad injury for the Giants. Wandale Robinson torn his ACL, and that is bad news, Dave. But that's all I have for injuries. Anything
All right.
else?
And then I got another one. Receiver Mike Williams, who just came back from injury, injured his ankle. Kenneth Murray, their star linebacker, neck injury. And then Chase Edmonds, ankle injury. So he might be out for a few weeks. And then another not injury note, but Melvin Gordon was cut after fumbling in this last
Yeah.
game. So just make that a note. So he's no longer on the team anymore. Matthew Stafford, he's being evaluated for concussion as well. We'll talk about who to pick up to replace him this week, but in a little bit here. And then Michael Carter, cornerback for the Jets, is out. Running back Jalen Warren, who's been looking really good this year, hamstring injury. So actually, Najee Harris had a great game this week, which we'll get into a little bit here too. But that led to that great game. And then another one of note, Zach Wilson stunk it up this week. So he may be getting benched this week. So we'll talk a little bit about that and the guy that you might want to pick up to replace him as well.
That's very interesting too. And yeah, MG3, our former Badger, finally, he got paid at least. He made some money in the NFL. I was happy with what he did. Yep, there's your pick for the Niners, right in the end zone there. That game's over. Yeah, I feel bad for him. I could see you should hold on to him though. And if someone drops him, I would say that could be a speculative pickup because I could see the Chargers picking him up. He used to be a Charger. So, there's some familiarity, at least with the organization, not necessarily the playbook, but I believe he was under the Vance Joseph playbook before. But he is, available, and I'm sure somebody needs a running back, and they can't cut Russell Wilson. So Melvin Gordon got the blame this week, my man. That's how it is. He was toasted by the end of the season anyway, but the Broncos just keep getting worse and worse. Let's move on to the waiver wire, Dave. Who are we picking up?
All right. Number one on my waiver wire is going to be Taylor Heineke. Only 14% owned right now, and he gets a home date with the Atlanta Falcons. He's got that team playing really well right now, so definitely pick him up. He's someone I would actually start this week. Another guy who's only 48% owned and is eligible in week 13, Deshaun Watson. A lot of people might have forgot about him, but definitely go and pick him up if he is still out there. Ryan Tannehill, actually, he's been balling the last couple of weeks after he's come back from injury, only 16% owned, and he's playing a poor Bengals secondary that is not very good. So a couple pickups at quarterback there for you. Running back, the top waiver wire target this week should be Samaje Perine for the Bengals. If Joe Mixon does miss this week, he will be the starting running back, and he did have several touchdowns this past week after Mixon went out. So definitely add him anywhere you can. We'll see what Mixon news comes out though with the concussion, but if he were to miss this week, he's going to be a number one running back. Latavius Murray, only 23% owned. With Chase Edmonds hurt and Melvin Gordon cut, Latavius Murray is now the starting running back. He had 17 carries in week 11, while Gordon only had 8. And Gordon had that costly fumble, and Murray scored a short touchdown this past week too. So he's touchdown dependent, but definitely a speculative add. Jerick McKinnon for the Chiefs. Him and Isaiah Pacheco once again ran the show and for the Chiefs. And Pacheco had nearly 40%. He's only owned in nearly 40% of Yahoo leagues. He turned 15 carries and 107 yards. So if either one of those are out there on the waiver wires, definitely McKinnon and Isaiah would be your first choice, but McKinnon definitely is someone out there you'd want to take a look at. At receiver, I hate to say this, but he blew up against the Packers, actually. Treylon Burks. Big hype on him before the season started. He had 7 catches for 111 yards this past week. He only played 56% of the snaps and 50% of the snaps he played in the last 2 games. So he's actually playing more now, and he's getting healthy. So definitely take a look at him. A deeper pickup would be Justin Watson for the Chiefs, only 8% owned. With Kadarius Toney out now, he's definitely going to get some play. Devontae Peoples-Jones, I talked about him last week, so I'm not going to really go into him, but definitely pick him up if he's still out there. Definitely consider him. And then at tight end, Foster Moreau, he's still playing. He's with the tight end out, starting tight end out. He's still going to be starting for the next couple weeks while the starter is on IR. So definitely take a look at picking up Foster Moreau.
All right. Now, I have some of those. You went a little deeper than me. I have, Samaje Perine, one of the number ones here for this week. And I agree with Taylor Heineke versus, what is it?
Falcons.
The Falcons. Yeah, Atlanta has a very bad pass D. Travion Williams for the Mixon injury, if not Samaje Perine. So I think deeper league, Travion Williams could be a potential streamer if you're desperate. Wide receiver Richie James for the Wan'Dale Robinson injury.
That's a good one.
Probably should put Wandale in front of Robinson. There's too many Robinsons out there. And because I also have wide receiver Demarcus Robinson, 9 targets for the Ravens this week.
He stepped it up this week.
Big time stepped it up this week. So I'm thinking he might be one of the favorites there for Lamar.
And if you got any Jets quarterback, if you have Zach Wilson, definitely Mike White is a speculative ad if they do bench him this week. So there's a good possibility that does happen.
Is it Flacco or White?
That's going to be White. He's been the backup the last 2-3 weeks now. Flacco hasn't even been active the last couple weeks.
Yeah, that's what I kind of imagine anyway. Trevor Siemian, if you're desperate too, if Fields might not play, you might get a streamer with Siemian this week. And it's not like the Jets D is all that great. You might get something from them. And this is like if, maybe you're that bad luck guy that lost their quarterback, Kyler Murray or something, and he's going to be out again the next week. Sky Moore for the Kadarius Toney injury. I think that Sky Moore, if Hardman stays out and a few of the other guys, Sky Moore might benefit from this. So look for him, Dave.
Yeah, I definitely, like I said, Justin Watson's the guy I thought might pick up the slack too. But either one of those guys could definitely blow up the next couple weeks with the injuries they have there.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, Justin Watson's just a normal dude, but with Mahomes throwing to you, it doesn't matter, right?
Exactly.
Let's move on to non-starters trending up for Week 12. Wide receiver Alec Pierce versus the horrible Steelers pass D I have, and I think he's going to start balling out now that Matt Ryan's back throwing to him. Wide receiver Jacoby Myers versus the Vikings D is a possible streamer this week. The Vikings D was like Swiss cheese last week against the Cowboys, as we all know. Tight end Logan Thomas versus Atlanta's pass D to partner with Taylor Heineke is both non-starters trending up against Atlanta. Wide receiver Gabe Davis versus the Lions bad D. I mean, he's made a lot of my trending up here. I think this might be the last week I say to him, but Gabriel Davis, I think, has a good game this week. Wide receiver Allen Robinson versus the Chiefs D. The Chiefs D, they give up a lot of yards. They're just really good on offense. So, that's all they have is really Allen Robinson there and Van Jefferson. They're so banged up there in the Rams. Stafford also went out again with a concussion, didn't he, Dave?
Yeah, and Bryce Perkins is the guy to pick up there, but that's a deep pickup. So that's why I really didn't mention, because Wolford is out with an injury as well. So if he doesn't play, Bryce Perkins would be the starting quarterback this week.
Jesus, the Rams are just in shambles. They are 14.5-point dogs right now against the Chiefs.
Wow. I'd almost take the Chiefs in that one.
I probably would have to. Running back Jeff Wilson versus the horrible Texans D. I like streaming up for this week. I love Jeff Wilson this week. And running back Treston Ebner from the Bears versus the Jets. I feel like, since the Khalil Herbert injury, he did get some snaps last week, and he could make an impact as a streamer this week, Dave. Who do you have trending up?
All right. A lot of the same ones as you did, but I do like James Cook, actually. He's a semi-waiver pickup this week as well. He's borderline right now, but I'm definitely adding him into my trending up, though, because he did get quite a few carries this past week and he had over 80 yards on the ground. So it's not Hines, actually. It's him they've been going to now after Singletary. So James Cook is a guy I really like. I do like Richie James against the Cowboys. Cowboys do give up some. They had the good pressure on the quarterback, but Daniel Jones did have over 300 yards this past week in the loss. But I think they're still going to throw the ball at us. I do like Richie James trending up against the Cowboys D. I do like actually the Broncos this week against the Panthers. The Panthers do not have a good D as well. I'm trending up is going to be Latavius Murray against that poor Panthers D, and I like Cortland Sutton this week too. He should be a borderline starter, but I'm definitely starting him this week against the poor Panthers defense. It's a matchup I really like. I like DeMarcus Robinson actually this week too against the Jaguars and Isaiah Likely. I think Likely you'll see him getting a few more touches now at tight end too, even with Andrews healthy. I think they still go to him a little bit more this week. I like Mostert and Wilson. I like both the running backs against that poor Texans D. Definitely like that matchup for them. I like David Montgomery, but he's already a borderline starter. But like you said, Ebner's going to get some carries though too. So I do agree with you on that. Definitely the Commanders this week. I like Jahan Dotson, who hasn't really done much since he came back from injury. I like him a lot. I do like my boy Brian Robinson too. I like him against the poor Falcons D as well. And I do think Heineke will like the Falcons.
Just start the whole Washington football team.
Yeah, exactly. But I do like Robinson a lot, though, and I do like Dotson as a sleeper, though. So I think he could have a good game against the poor defense. I'm actually going with James Conner, and I'm going with whoever's starting at quarterback against the Chargers, too. Chargers have not looked good on defense as well. So I like that matchup. I'm going Mac Hollins against the Seahawks. Seahawks have not been playing that well in defense either. They're kind of like the Chiefs. They have a good offense, but not a good defense. So I like Mac Hollins, the second wideout for the Raiders there, too, as well.
Mac Hollins. Yeah, he could have done better for me last week. The Raiders, that was an ugly game. Someone had to win that game against Denver. Oh, jeez. That was just went to overtime and a low score, just like it always happens.
Oh, then my other guy that I really like this week against the Packers, actually, of all people, is Quez Watkins. He's been coming on lately these last couple weeks. I do like Quez Watkins this week, too, against the Packers.
Quez Watkins, huh? That's interesting there for the Eagles. All right. Kind of a under the radar Eagles player if you're looking past Devontae Smith. Let's go
with Goddard out. He had a touchdown this past week, and he had a couple nice big catches, too. I've been watching the Eagles games the last couple weeks, and he's been coming on.
That's true. Why don't you get in the bus, Dave?
All right. One of the busts this week is going to be the Saints against the 49ers. After the 49ers dismantle the Cardinals tonight, I do like the 49ers, and I do not like any Saints this week. I'm downgrading. Andy Dalton is going to be a mess against the 49ers, and I do not like Chris Olave against the Olave against the 49ers as well. Sorry about that. And I do not like Jefferson or Robinson with the backup quarterback against a tough Chiefs team. Even though their defense does give up some points, I think with a backup quarterback in there, if Stanford can't play, that is not going to be good for the Rams. So definitely do not like that matchup. I'm actually downgrading the Bengals a little bit against the Titans. Titans have actually been playing well in defense the past couple weeks. I don't know if Samaje Perine really plays well against the Titans, so I'm downgrading him a little bit this week against him. And Tyler Boyd has not looked good the last couple weeks either, so I'm downgrading him. He's probably borderline starter right now with Chase out, but definitely downgrading him. Jaguars, downgrading the Jaguars this week. Baltimore's defense is only getting better as the season goes on, and with Roquan Smith there too now. I do not like the Jaguars, so I'm downgrading Travis Etienne and Trevor Lawrence this week against the Baltimore Ravens. And Jacoby Brissett against the Buccaneers. I do not like that matchup for him either this week. Buccaneers have been playing a lot better. I'm downgrading Chubb. He's still a must start, but I don't think he's going to do as well this week against the tough Buccaneers run defense.
Nice. So Caden just said he barely won his fantasy league by 0.07 points because of that garbage interception for the Niners in the end zone at the very end. I wouldn't call that garbage. The Niners set themselves up to win that game and put them in desperation, so that's good for defenses, and that those things are almost expected. It would have been more garbagey if you're betting betting the under, and it was like 49 points and the Cardinals scored there. That's garbage. But I don't believe that's garbage. You earned that, Caden. That's what I'm saying. You earned that win, buddy. You earned it.
Another two matchup, too. Like I said, Thanksgiving Day could be a blowout for the Bills and for the Cowboys. So if their defenses both play if they can, the Giants and Lions could both be in trouble, too. So I might be hesitant to start some of those guys on both those teams as well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, my busts are Travis Etienne versus Baltimore for sure. Coming off the bye, I hope Trevor Lawrence scores a few points. I mean, this Ravens D, I know they got Roquan now, but it's been bad in the past. Maybe Roquan and Bowser and some of the guys that are coming back change that completely. But I hope to see some life out of the Jaguars after a bye. Nick Chubb versus Tampa's D. It's hard to bench him, but
yeah.
I mean, if you just happen to have a stacked team of running backs, maybe he's the one you sit down. Isaiah Pacheco versus the Rams D isn't great because that's really all they have is a little bit of defense. And, they're going to come into this game disrespected and all that. So not loving Pacheco there. Plus, the Chiefs really throw the ball a lot. Wide receiver Kenny Galladay versus the Cowboys isn't really a fun matchup here. I think the Cowboys have been just fantastic lately, and I'm concerned for the Giants here. I could see Galladay having a bad day, and plus he's already been just disgruntled all year. Wide receiver Christian Watson versus the Eagles could definitely bust. Now, one thing I will say the Packers do have a shot is the Eagles do have a terrible run defense. The Packers just keep pounding the ball, just like you saw the Colts do, and just like you saw Washington do the week before. That's their weakness. So let's see. Let's see if LaFleur can figure that out and not put it on Aaron Rodgers the whole day. It's not like Adams is there. Run the ball. Running back Deonta Foreman versus the Broncos isn't fun. I mean, I'll tell you this. I'll tease the Carolina Panthers from 2.5 to 8.5 all day. But it's just another ugly game. It's like you just had them with the Raiders. Now you have them with Carolina. 2 ugly games in a row. Wide receiver DJ Moore also versus the Broncos. I hate to say it, but can't trust him anymore. No. You can't trust him to be a starter. It sucks because he was a high draft pick for a lot of people as a wide receiver. Brings us to our nasty sleeper, Dave. What do you have that's going to put us over the top?
Going with Taylor Heineke for the Commanders, baby. He's been on fire. Wentz is never going to get his job back this year. I like him. Heineke's the man that's going to take you to the promised land this week.
Taylor Heineke. I love it. No, I should have said his name before. He's been doing really well since he came in for old Wentz. Woodford HS needed 16 from James Conner and Kittle to win. You think Kittle can keep this up? Hell yes, he can keep this up. I mean, he was the number 2 tight end for a long time. Now the pressure is off with Christian McCaffrey there. They're just going to have to kind of spy him, which is going to leave Kittle more open.
Oh, yeah, I think too many weapons there now, too. They can't double team any of those guys now. So Kittle's going to get his now for sure.
Oh, he's going to get his. I almost think that he might be the better play than CMC because CMC is just such a big name. I mean, don't get me wrong, in PPR league, you're going to always start CMC, but yeah, Kittle's fantastic. I think it's just up and coming for George Kittle this week. My nasty sleeper is Jeff Wilson versus the horrible Texans D for the Miami Dolphins.
Not Mostert? Not Raheem Mostert?
Dave, you'd rip on me too much if I said Mostert. They're splitting, really. I think it's
Wilson is the guy there.
I think Wilson's the goal line guy, though. He's going to get more there, and maybe Mostert gets a few more passes. But Wilson's just been awesome there, and it was a wonderful transition. I love Jeff Wilson this week. He's going to have a massive week, in my opinion. Dave, anything we missed?
No, I think that's it. Just make sure you keep an eye on those injuries this week. Keep an eye on that Zach Wilson situation too, and those backup quarterbacks too. There might be a couple starters that are out this week, like Stafford and Fields. So definitely keep an eye on that.
Yeah, I hope you weren't starting Zach Wilson anyway, but I will say that he wasn't nice with the media. He kind of put the blame on the rest of the team. You can see that's completely his fault. It's just night and day, like when a quarterback. Like when a quarterback goes out and just look absolutely terrible. Yeah, you're the terrible quarterback right now, Wilson, and he's getting compared to Jamarcus Russell. So I think that's pretty disgusting as it is, David. All right. Thanks all for tuning in and checking us out on fantasy football here. I really appreciate it. And if you have any questions for the next show or every Monday for fantasy football, feel free to send us a message at info@theoddsbreakers.com or tweet us at the Odds Breakers. Have a great rest of your week and go get some winners.